welcome. Were either of you here last year at the presentation? Okay. Well, I gave this last year. It's very similar. Um, I think folks have seen it, but my name's Russell Ledbetter. I'm the Deputy Chief of Operations at Travis CAD. I've been in this position for about a year. And before that, I was in the residential department. So I had nothing to do with your values for this year. um, Josh Maldonado, he is here to observe. He's our commercial director, BPP director. And our chief strategy officer over here, Cynthia Martinez, is here to help me if I start fumbling, which is likely. So glad to be here. Thanks for braving the rain. We are here to talk about understanding your notice of appraised value and navigating the protest process has everyone gotten their notice of appraised value? Okay, cool. So let's talk about the notice of appraised value. So appraisal districts are required to appraise property annually to determine market value and report those market findings to taxpayers and to taxing units. So your city, county, appraisal district, ISD. The purpose of appraising property at market value is to ensure that each property owner pays their fair share of the tax burden in proportion to the value of their property. And the report of the market value determination is known as the notice of appraised value that most taxpayers have already received, and we send those out in April. So we have a slide in here, don't panic. So changes to your property values from last year may affect your tax bill, but they do not necessarily increase or decrease the total amount of taxes you pay to a taxing unit. That's determined by the taxing unit's budget. And if you go to travistaxes.com, that will help you see a breakdown of tax rates in relation and how that affects your tax bill. In August, taxing units will update those tax rates, and you can have a better idea of what your tax bill is going to be. travistaxes.com. Finding your notice. Notices of appraised value are online. They're in the mail. Is where you probably received yours. If you haven't received it yet, which all of you have, but it'll be delivered in the next few weeks. And you can, like I said, you can find it on our website. So this is your notice of appraised value. Two important items is the property ID and the e-file PIN. So you'll need this to set up your online account if you haven't already, and to file an appeal electronically, which is what we encourage everyone to do. You'll need that information on your notice. Three key terms is market value, and that is what your property would sell for as of January 1. There's the net appraised value, and that's the reduced value of your property after any limitations. So if you have a homestead or a circuit breaker, you may have a limitation, and your net appraised value may be less than your market value. It'll never be higher than your market value, but it could be less. And then there's the taxable value, and that's the value after exemptions that is used to calculate your property taxes. So any exemptions you have are removed from the net appraised value to get to your taxable, and the tax rates are applied to those values. Let's talk about market and net appraised values some more. This is where you'll find your market value on your notice. Again, the market value is set each year as of January 1. That's the effective date of all of our residential appraisals, is January 1 of every year. There's no limit to the increase or decrease in your market value. It can go up or go down wherever the market bears. The market value, again, reflects what is indicated by the current real estate market. Then let's talk about the net appraised value, and that's found here. In this example, the market value and the net appraised values is the same. This is the limited value. So properties with a homestead exemption or a circuit breaker are eligible for limited increases. In the first full calendar year that you own your home, you qualify for these limitations. So these are state mandated calculations that are done each year. And the net appraised value is a calculation of which is lower. The last year's net appraised value plus 10% or 20%, depending on how you qualify. You may have a circuit breaker, so that's 20%. But your net appraised value cannot go up more than 10% per year. Your market value can shoot up, hopefully it doesn't, but if that's where the market takes it, it can go up. But your net appraised value is capped at 10% a year, and that's important. Exemptions and taxable values, that's in this body of the notice. This is the value that you pay taxes on. The net appraised value minus any exemption amount is your taxable value for the taxing unit. And that value can be different depending on the taxing entity, the taxing unit. There's some information in your notice about the tax ceiling explanation. If you're claiming an over 65 or disabled person exemption, the taxes on your property cannot increase during the time you own or live in that home. Your school taxes can't increase. The only time it can is if you improve your home. If you add an addition or build another house in the backyard or something that adds new value, then your tax ceiling could increase. And if you go down the notice, you'll see the appraisal breakdown. This is an example of a vacant lot because the market value of building and other structures, let me use my wand here, is zero. There's just a value for land. So this is a vacant land. It has a circuit breaker limitation on it. And there's also information about, goes into circuit breakers, truth and taxation information. I won't read all of this, but the appraisal district only determines the value of the property, and budgets and tax rates are set by the governing body of each taxing unit. And we'll talk more in a little bit about the no new revenue rate and the voter approval rate. And this is new for this year. You'll find this in your notice of appraised value. You can scan that QR code. It'll take you to our website. There's some more information about how we developed your value, about the appraisal process, about how to protest your value if you so choose. So you can click on that. Welcome. There are some protest instructions in your notice of appraised value. The protest deadline is May 15th. You can submit your protest via mail. There's our mailing address. You can drop it off in person, 850 East Anderson Lane. Or the best way to do it is go to our website and file electronically. Informal meetings started on Monday. So we opened up spots for property owners to have an informal meeting with an appraiser. That started on the 6th. That'll run through the end of June. And formal hearings will begin on May 26th. And those will be in our office. Informal meetings are virtual. We'll talk more about that in a minute. And there's some information about exemptions in your notice, and the deadline to apply for your homestead exemption is April 30th. And there's also information from the comptroller, taxpayer assistance pamphlet, just generic information about how to file a protest, what is a protest. If you can go to traviscad.org/protest, there's some great information there for you. The protest form, which is also included in your notice. Again, the deadline to file your protest is May 15th, or 30 days after your notice is mailed, but most of you have probably already gotten your notice, so the deadline is May 15th. Be sure not to wait until May 15th if you want to file an appeal. I would do it much sooner than that. Let's talk about the protest process. So you want to be sure you file your protest by the deadline, May 15th. I would encourage you, although it's optional, to have an informal discussion with an appraiser. If you have concerns about the market value, if you have some evidence you want to bring, the appraiser will show you the evidence that was used to value your property. You'll get some great information from your informal meetings. So you may listen to an appraiser and go, hey, this value looks right, and there's no need for the next step. If you do want to go to the next step, that's perfectly fine. You can go to your ARB hearing, and those will start in June. Okay. So how will a protest affect my taxes? So just keep in mind that you're not necessarily protesting your property taxes. That might be a driving component, but you have to focus on the market value. We want to be sure we have that right. We want to be sure you have your characteristics correct on your home and that we get the market value correct. If it's not correct and we need to make an adjustment, we will. But keep in mind, so we talked about the market value and the net appraised value earlier. So the market value for this property was 600,000. The net appraised value is 338,897. So let's say we were way off on this account and the owner went to the appraisal review board and the value was dropped to $400,000. So a $200,000 reduction. The owner may think, wow, that's going to be some big savings here. But that value did not go below the net appraised value. So in that example, there's not going to be any savings, tax savings, because we got to get below the net appraised value. So just keep in mind, we're not protesting property taxes. You can have a significant reduction, but it's not necessarily going to change your taxes. So, okay. Filing a protest, I would encourage you to do it online. It's the fastest and easiest way. You get immediate confirmation. You can upload and review evidence that the appraisal district uploads to the portal. You can accept or decline a settlement offer online. You can schedule a date for your informal meeting, and you can easily attend your informal meeting and ARB meeting all virtually if you so choose. ARB meetings you can attend in person. Again, the informals are remote only. Or you can file your protest in our office or by mail, but I would encourage you to do it online. So this is new. Postmarks can make you late potentially. So there's a new United States Post Office processing rules. So essentially, if it's May 15th, which is the deadline, and you swing by the post office and drop off your appeal, there's no guarantee that that's going to be postmarked on May 15th. It might be 2 or 3 days down the road. And if that's the case, it'll be a late protest because you might have dropped it in the mail on May 15th, but it wasn't postmarked till May 17th, and that'll be late. So let's not do that. Be sure you get your appeal in very early. Getting appraisal district evidence online is the fastest and easiest way. There's no written request needed. Evidence will automatically be available via the online portal to all owners who protest. If you don't have an account, check your notice of appraised value or protest instructions for your PIN information that we talked about earlier. You'll need that. Call customer service if you have any issues. And again, you can get our evidence by mail. You must request it in writing on your protest. So please mail me my evidence packet. And it must be mailed 14 days before your formal hearing. So that's on us to be sure we get you your evidence 2 weeks before your formal. Okay, the informal process started on Monday. Electronic offers will be sent out to those who file electronically. Informal meetings there'll be a phone or video conference with an appraiser. Has anyone used that before? The informal? Okay, oh great. It works pretty well, I think. Property owners seem to be pretty happy with it. Now remember, or you can, if you don't want to schedule an informal hearing, you can go to our website and there's an area, it's called Get in Line Online, and that'll put you in the queue for an appraiser to contact you for a hearing right then and there. You may have to wait a little bit since there's not a appointment scheduled, but I doubt it'll be very long of a wait. If you don't want to schedule, you just want to do it that day, get in line online. I think we'll talk, there's a slide about that later. There's one informal meeting per property. So you can't have an informal meeting with an appraiser on Monday and then call back on Wednesday and have another informal meeting. There's a lot to get through, a lot of appeals. So it's just one per property. And evidence must be submitted and processed beforehand. Again, use the portal, upload any evidence you want the appraiser to consider. I would do that early, not the day of, to be sure it's in there for the appraiser to review and help you. And whenever we do have an informal meeting with you, we'll get out offers. We'll push them out to the portal within 48 hours, typically much sooner than that. You'll see an offer from the appraiser based on the meeting that you had. I talked about this, get in line online. You can schedule an appointment for an informal hearing. You can get in line online, whatever you choose, whatever's most convenient for you. When you get in line online, provide your name and contact information. For scheduled appointments, what you want to do is log into your portal at your appointment time a little bit early, and the meeting will be held virtually, or you'll have a phone conversation with an appraiser. If you want to jump in today's queue and avoid the scheduled appointment, again, you can do so. Get in line online on our website. And then we'll send you a text message when you're ready for your hearing. If you go to an informal meeting with an appraiser and are unable to resolve the appeal, that's fine. You can move forward to an ARB hearing. The ARB stands for Appraisal Review Board, is an independent entity from the appraisal district. They're not employees of the appraisal district. TCAD has no influence on ARB members. ARB hearings summer of 2026, we'll kick those off in June. And at your hearing, the ARB panel will listen to arguments and evidence presented by the owner and the appraisal district. They'll make a decision at the end of the hearing, and then property owners will receive a notice of final order a couple weeks after that. If you're still unhappy with the results of that ARB hearing, you can appeal that decision to a district court or binding arbitration. ARB hearings, you can participate one of three ways. You can come to our office and have the hearing in person in front of the ARB. If you don't want to attend the hearing, you can submit a notarized affidavit with your evidence attached to it, and that'll be heard in front of the ARB. Or you can attend remotely. And that's something that more and more property owners have taken advantage of over the last few years. Our parking lot has gotten less and less crowded. Seems like during the summer, because people are taking advantage of the remote hearing, which is fantastic. If you want to come in person, we can accommodate. And hopefully this doesn't happen, but if you're waiting, you have to wait up to at least 2 hours before your hearing can be rescheduled. That's another big improvement that we've had at the appraisal district during the summers. There were some pretty significant wait times. We've improved our processes significantly. It's unlikely you'll have to wait more than 2 hours for your ARB hearing. So what can help me? And that's evidence. I think the sale price is the best indicator of market value. If you purchased your home recently, within the last year or so, bring your closing statement to your hearing, and the appraiser will take a look at it. There's no guarantee we're going to go to that sale price, but they'll certainly take a look at it and give it strong consideration. We definitely want to look at sales that are more recent within the last year from January 1st of 2025. If you bought your home 3-4 years ago, it might not be the best indicator of market value. Chances are that your market values might be much less than what you paid for it 3-4 years ago in some certain areas of town. Sales of comparable homes in your neighborhood. You can ask a realtor if you have a realtor friend that can provide you with comparable sale data. The sales should include the address, the date of the sale, and the sale price. Comparable homes should be similar in size, number of stories, age of the home, quality of construction, amenities such as pools and decks, and obviously they should be in close proximity, so they should be in the same neighborhood. Bring those. We don't get all the sale data. If there's sale data that you have that we don't, we will absolutely give it consideration. And I harp on this a lot. I talked about it earlier as property characteristics. I would encourage you to go to our website and pull up your account. Make sure the square footage looks right, age looks right. Um, if we have a pool on your account that maybe was there at one time, has been filled in, is no longer there, whatever the case may be, just be sure your characteristics are right. We can't see every single property every year, um, and it's critical that the characteristics are correct. Correct. If they're not, then the value could be wrong. So characteristics are a big deal. Again, check our website, check the square footage. If we have the square footage wrong, if you have builder plans or a recent fee appraisal sketch, we'll take a look at that. Property damage, if your home needs costly repairs, I hope it doesn't, but if it does, bring current photos of those problems. Contractor bids, none of us are structural engineers at the appraisal district, so if whatever you can bring us, that'll help us make an adjustment. I want to emphasize down here that providing this information doesn't guarantee a reduction in market value, but we'll take all evidence under consideration. Other helpful documents, survey, floodplain information. If you're building your home and it wasn't quite 100% complete as of the first of the year, which is the effective date, you can bring your construction draw information, a recent fee appraisal, as long as it's a completed, fully signed document appraisal. We'll take a look at that. And for Josh, operating statement and rent roll information for commercial properties is helpful. Submitting your evidence at your hearing. You can submit your evidence through the online portal, which is what I would recommend. You can drop it off in person and you can mail it to us, but there's going to be a process time expected of 10 or 15 business days if you drop it off or mail it to us. So I can't emphasize enough the online portal. Things to avoid is waiting until the deadline to file your appeal. Comparing price per square foot, um, I would bring sale data, I would bring evidence and just tell us, hey, my price per square foot seems high. Well, maybe it is, but we'll bring us some sales, bring us some evidence to look at. And again, arguing about your property taxes, I get it, but really the purpose of a hearing is to discuss your market value, characteristics, and the market value. And again, if we have it wrong, we will fix it. We won't hesitate. We'll fix your property if we need to. One last tip: don't wait until the last minute. People who submit their protest early have more time to resolve their protest, have more time to sign up for an informal meeting, have more time to gather evidence based on the feedback in their informal, and have more time to contact customer service for help. So I wouldn't wait till last minute to file your appeal if you choose to do so. If you have trouble paying your property taxes, be sure you have any exemptions you qualify for. Be sure you apply for those and take advantage of that. The most common is your general residence homestead exemption, over 65, disabled person exemptions. Just be sure to remember to include any required documents, and the most obvious one we need is a copy of your driver's license, and the address on your driver's license needs to match the home you're applying for the exemption. Recent law requires appraisal districts to audit exemptions every 5 years. So TCAD is using a phased approach. So if you've had your exemption for more than 5 years, you may not be audited right away. But property owners will receive notifications before exemptions are removed. We send at least 2 letters reminding property owners to fill out their verification. And property owners must meet the current eligibility requirement to continue their exemptions. And not completing the verification process will remove your exemption benefits and increase your property tax bill. So if you get a letter from us asking to verify that you still qualify for your exemption, be sure you get that back to us with a copy of your driver's license. That's all you got to do. You can even do it online. It's really easy to do. It's free. It's law. We have to, I know it can be annoying. I get it, but it's law, so we have to do it. We have to verify every homestead every 5 years. And there's more information at traviscad.org/verify. Get involved beginning August 7th. We talked about truth in taxation a little bit earlier. Beginning August 7th, taxing units take the first step toward adopting a tax rate. They calculate the no new revenue rate and the voter approval tax rate. The no new revenue rate is the rate they could adopt that'll bring in just about the same revenue as they did the prior year. That's the no new revenue rate. There's also the voter approval tax rate, and that's as high as a taxing unit can take a tax rate before triggering an election. If budgets increase, then a tax rate higher than the no new revenue rate, it says may be adopted, but it's probably will be adopted. So great information, travistaxes.com. There's great information on our website, traviscad.org/protests. I'll be happy to take your questions. I felt like I went through that pretty quick. We can revisit a slide. I'll answer your questions. Let us know how we did today. You can scan that QR code, give us some feedback, and I'm all yours for questions. Fire away.
You talk about one property per meeting.
Yeah.
Is that so we have to schedule multiple meetings, or we can only do one property?
You can schedule one meeting if you have, I'm not sure how many properties you have. We can discuss it at the same time. So you can schedule an appointment or get in line online, like I mentioned earlier, and appraiser will discuss all 3 with you. You won't have to schedule 3 separate informal meetings, is my point. With only 2 properties, it's no problem. No problem.
You mentioned the QR code that came on our tax receipt.
Yes, sir.
Is that just taking general information, or is that giving specific information?
It takes us to our website with some more information about the protest process, and there's a video for you to watch. That's our residential director made recently.
So that can get you to keep TCAD's evidence. So to get
No.
evidence, you have to start getting
Yes, sir. Through the portal. Yes, sir. Good.
You can't get it without doing that.
Yes. You have to file an appeal to get our evidence because it's confidential cell information. So we're happy to provide it to you, but you have to have an appeal.
So as soon as you file a protest, you get access to information.
You'll get, most likely, you'll get our evidence packet before the informal meeting. Yes. In most cases.
My point is, if you get the information, you can look at it. You may not need it.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. We try to, as appeals come in electronically, we submit evidence, push evidence is typically already created, and we'll push it to the portal typically very soon after you file your appeal electronically. And then you can see our evidence. And you're right, you may look at it and go, looks, I think I'm good. No need to move forward. That's a good question. Go ahead.
Talk about some of the exceptions for people that are 65. Is you have a joint property and one of the person is 65, or both?
Just one. That's all it takes is just one. And you can get the over 65 exemption. It doesn't have to be both married. If you're married, it doesn't have to be the husband and wife or whatever. No. Good question.
The audit that you were talking about is only for the homestead exemption?
One more time, I'm sorry?
The audits that you were talking about?
Yeah, it's only for individuals that have a homestead exemption. There's, go ahead. I was going to say there's 400,000 or so individuals that have a homestead exemption. So we can't look at all of those every year. So we split it up, 70,000 or so a year that we'll audit.
So if
Mhm.
you have an exemption because one person in the house is 65
Mhm.
and that person moves out, does the exemption stay on there until you get audited?
Most likely, yeah, unless we're informed or unless the property sells.
Okay.
If there's a deed change, then we'll investigate that, of course.
Okay.
But that'll flag, if there's a deed change. But if,
Right.
yeah,
And if
it's
they
good.
apply it to another property, it'll drop from that property, right?
Right.
From 65.
Right, they can port or transfer that
That
the percentage.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
When I was looking at some other properties, I see there's some kind of exemption for solar.
Mhm.
So how does that work? If you put solar panels on,
If you put solar panels on and you need to file the paperwork to our office, depending on the wattage, and you can get an exemption for that. So typically it's a wash. To be honest, we add it to the market value,
right?
but it's 100% exempted.
That's what I figured.
Yeah.
Okay.
What is that mean? That's the question.
Well, just if with solar, if it's $10,000 worth of solar panels, we'll add that to your market value, but that 10,000 will be just exempted right back off again.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
There was something on your evidence thing that talked about, I think it said quality of construction or something to, how do you understand the quality of construction comparison? How do you, I don't understand where you get the data.
For the condition of a home?
Yeah, I don't remember what it said on,
Okay. We can go back and
on that. You said about the evidence.
let's see where it is.
That there.
Right here?
No, it was before that. Keep going back. The comparable is on that one. Quality of construction says comparable sums.
Right. Right. So if your home's in average condition, you don't want to bring us sale information of homes that maybe were in poor or fair condition. We want to be sure that the comparables are truly comparable and similar in
Now, how do you
condition.
tell that from the data? Because if I'm looking at, what our home's appraised and the home next door, am I supposed to make a judgment of that quality construction, or is it what?
I see what you're
is there
saying.
something on your website that?
Yeah, on our website, you can pull it up. It'll show you the class of the home. It'll show you the year built.
The class is supposed to say the
A
quality?
class is quality, so that's a good question. So we have 6 classes in residential, class 1 through class 6. So a class R1 would be a very high quality property home. R6 would be on the lower end. So this particular example is an R5. So you can look at the class of your property. But we have an explanation of what these classes mean in your evidence packet, by the way, and condition. So you can look at your neighbor's properties and look at the characteristics in their class. And
So
if
class
it's-
is one thing and condition is something else?
yes,
And how do you see the condition?
I'm not sure if conditions on our website. I don't see it on the screen. I can't remember if conditions on there, but I know class is.
And class includes things I can't see very well, but fireplace, whether you have multiple floors.
Yeah, the class really mainly is the driver for the living area. It's really is a driver of value for the living area. So the first and second floor, both in this example, are in R5. So just made all the other details in R5 as well.
Can I ask you real quick?
Uh-huh.
So speaking of construction, so how much discrepancy on age do you see? Like, so a neighborhood like Mueller, which is being built out over 18, 20 years, you're going to have houses in one part, but we're all the same neighborhood, a lot of similar housing types. So what kind of difference in like a 10-year spread would you see? Should one expect a difference in 10 years, 15 years, 20 years in the appraised value?
It depends on what the sales tell us, really.
Okay.
Yeah, homes depreciate each year.
Yeah.
So homes that are 20 years old will have more depreciation than homes that were built a couple years ago.
Okay.
Typically those, not always, but might be in different neighborhoods. So if homes built 20, 30 years ago, or and the sales tell us, hey, these need to be in their own neighborhood because it's different than the values of these homes that are a little newer, we'll split them up. We'll segment those neighborhoods if the data tells us to do so. If it doesn't, then we'll leave them together. So it just really depends on what the sales data tells us. But we do capture depreciation, and like this home was built in 2020, so it's probably depreciated probably 20, 25%.
Oh.
So do you segment this neighborhood then? So
I wasn't involved with the valuation of this neighborhood. I don't know. I don't think so. I think there's
a
3 or
section
4.
that's been built
Mhm.
mostly since COVID,
Mhm.
and then there's older section that's 15 or so years old.
Okay. Those are better in separate neighborhoods. I just, unless I had, was at my office, I couldn't really tell you.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm
it
curious.
kind of,
Yeah. We're
yeah.
all the same neighborhood and we have the same housing types. And then the older section has more amenities that buyers value. But I've noticed that the older section homes are appraised at a lower value than the newer section. It seems.
That just might be where the sales are taking us, and newer
Yeah.
homes are bringing a higher premium versus the older homes. I don't know. Following the bill, appraiser will discuss all that
Yeah,
with you.
I might do it just for fun.
And should I should, and they'll give you all the sale information that was used.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So, I put together a spreadsheet of all of the homes on the street,
Mm-hmm.
and my house is appraised higher than everybody else's.
Mm-hmm.
What would be a reason for that?
The market value is higher than everyone
Yeah,
else in the
market
neighborhood.
value is higher than everybody else's, and I mean by about 20,000. About, well, it depends on the house. Some of them it's less than that, $20,000 on one. But like the house next door to me is their appraised value for 2025 is yeah, $20,000 less. What's going on there?
I don't know. Do you have? Is your home larger than those homes?
Is it on the corner of a corner
I-
house and a row house or something like that? Would that be?
I would have to look at it. I just can't give you a definitive answer. Maybe
That
your
would be a
home.
reason maybe to file an appeal
Sure.
and then get to talk to an appraiser that might give me some more indication. Of what
Yes.
that's about.
Yes.
Okay.
I would definitely file an appeal. Maybe your home's different quality, a different class. Maybe there's an error on your property. Maybe it's larger than compared to those other homes. It's just hard to give you a definitive answer unless I was looking at it. But yes, file an appeal, visit with an appraiser, and they'll answer those questions for you. I'll leave you my card, and I'll look at it tomorrow. Give you some information since you fought the rain to get here. I'll give you special attention.
This is my first year to look at all this myself.
Okay.
And I want to understand it as best I can.
Sure. We'll discuss after the presentation. I'll give you my information. I'll look at it for you.
Thank you.
Yeah, happy to. Great questions. Go ahead.
So when we outsource the job of doing these protests, right? How do we get it back? Let's say that we want to just take it from the appraisers that we have rendered the work with before. Like in your case, it sounds like you're also taking it over. How do we do the process of taking it over?
So you had a tax agent that represented you, a company
Yes.
represents you, and you want to kind of do it yourself.
Yeah.
That's easy. You can assign a revocation of agent. It was called a revocation of agent. Those forms are on our website, and you can fill that out and submit that to our office, and we'll remove that agent as the agent of record, and then you can move forward with the appeal.
And then they'll assign you a new case number or whatever. Yeah, new way to. Okay. A new way to get.
Yeah, you'll have to contact customer service because probably the agent probably got your notice of appraised value, but you can find it online. And if you have issues with a PIN, since an agent represented you, you can call customer service and we'll get you signed into the portal and get you whatever you need so you can move forward with the protest with your property yourself rather than having a company do it for you, if you so choose. Revocation of agent, yeah. It's a one-page form, I believe. It's real simple to send. Yes, sir.
Could we go back to the evidence slide, please? I have a question on exactly what documents to submit for this home that was recently purchased, closed on.
Yeah.
What exactly is the document that we need to submit? Is it the settlement one?
Yes. If you bought your home recently,
Yeah.
maybe sometime in 2025 or early 2026, just bring us your settlement statement
Okay.
at the title company. You should have got a settlement statement. Bring that to us. Your closing documents.
Okay.
So
So pretty much all the documents that I have are good to submit, or just
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Mhm.
And then another question. I noticed that in the notice that I received for the appraisal, my name it was like last name, first name, middle name, and then my partner's name is correct, just first, middle, and last name.
Okay.
Do I also need to change that? Does that matter, or is that something that?
So your name is misspelled? Is it not?
It's not misspelled.
Oh, okay.
It's just they started with the last name and then the first name.
Oh, I
and the middle
see.
name,
I see.
And then it says and.
Yeah.
And then my fiance's is correct. It's first, middle, and last.
Oh, I can fix that for you tomorrow. I'll leave you my card.
Okay.
Yeah, that's an easy fix.
All right.
No problem.
Awesome. Thanks.
Since I'm talking about leaving cards, let me do it before I forget. I'll help you out. Yeah, there's. Hey, need a card?
Thanks.
Think maybe I brought enough. Sure. Great questions.
You mentioned for the evidence, we should look at the recent sales to get
Mhm.
an idea of what is the market price for the unit.
Mhm.
And that information will come from a realtor, or are there any particular other tools that we can use?
Well, unfortunately, Texas is a non-disclosure state, so it's difficult to get access to sale data. You can't just go online to any website, Redfin, Realtor.com. It's very rare that they'll spit out what the actual sale price is. But realtors and brokers have access to MLS, Austin Board of Realtor information, and they may have better access to sell information than someone who doesn't have access to that information. So
Does TCAD have access?
No.
to that?
No.
we do not, unfortunately. We're building relationships with ABOR thanks to Cynthia. I don't know if we'll ever get there. It would be great if we did, but at this time, we do not have access to MLS data or a login and password with ABOR.